how to start an e-commerce business in 2023. In today's video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to go from A to Z with an e-commerce business, going from I've got nothing, I've got no business, to I've launched my business, I'm getting sales, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to give you the entire framework that you need to follow. Most people charge tons and tons of money for courses like this. I'm just going to give you the entire framework as somebody that's been running e-commerce stores for the majority of my career, and actually my latest e-commerce store I've been running for 3 years profitably with $0 of ad spend. So if you're at a place where you want to start an e-commerce store, you're curious about drop shipping, you've never worked with something like Shopify, you want to change your life, you want to leave the 9 to 5, you want to create generational wealth, there's no gimmicks, there's no get-rich-quick schemes. I'm not going to sell you anything, but I'm going to give you the basis and full understanding of what it takes, the steps that you need to move forward, and what it's going to look like in timeline, and the tools that you have at your hands. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. There's going to be a wealth of information on this channel about basically how to find financial freedom, and that's my goal. I'm going to take you guys along the journey with me. I've got a set date in which that's where I want to be financially free. That's when I want to retire, and we're going to work our way together to that goal. Before we get too far into the video, why should you listen to me? I've been running e-commerce and drop shipping stores, not just drop shipping, but I've been in the business world for the majority of my career. I'm not some 20-year-old millionaire. I've been in the game for a long time. I'm an engineer. I've been a consultant for small businesses. I'm currently running a large, profitable e-commerce store, $0 in ad spend, large organic growth. It's split half drop shipping, half housed inventory. And that's what I'm doing right now. So we're talking about that and the journey and how to do that. Okay, let's say you're sitting over your computer and you're saying to yourself, I need to make more money. It's not I want to make more money. I need to make more money because my desire is so strong that it's going to change my life. If you don't feel that way, psych yourself up, because the journey isn't going to be easy. There's no get rich quick, and anyone selling you information saying this is an easy process is lying to you. And the only time that they're not lying to you is if they have tons and tons of money to pay their way through the iterations of launching these businesses. What does that mean? If you've got $100,000 in your bank account that's liquid that you can spend on this business, you can start a profitable e-commerce store pretty quickly, because you can spend the $100,000 going from A to Z really quickly. Most of us don't have that money, so we're trying to start that without losing our time value and losing money by sinking too much time and losing the opportunity cost of starting the business. If that all sounds confusing, let's get into it. I'm gonna help you make some money here, guys. So the first and most important step of this entire process that everybody seems to forget, they wanna get selling a product and they wanna be making money, and this is where everybody fails, is product and consumer and market research. 90% of the process of starting an e-commerce store is spent on that section, and it's the only section that nobody talks about, that no gurus are preaching. They spend a bunch of time looking through AliExpress, and they don't understand how to build a lifelong product and how to build a lifelong store that you can, if you wanted to exit out, you don't just stop running ads, you sell it to somebody because your business is so profitable and it's growing. The product and market research, you need to identify a problem. Problems come in two ways. You're either solving a problem that exists with a solution that wouldn't otherwise exist. That's a tough one. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. You might be passionate, you might be like me, you might be an engineer where that's what you want to do. I've certainly done that in the past. But the bigger problem that's easier to solve, that takes a little bit more time, is undercutting the price of an existing solution. What does that mean? Let's say that you are a photographer and you are using your iPhone to shoot video while you're walking. But if you use your iPhone and it's bouncing like this, it's hard to see the video. So you want to get a gimbal to make that all happen. If you want to get something like a DJI gimbal and all the attachments, you're looking at $300 or $400. An entrepreneur might look at that and say, wait a second, could I source something cheaper? Now I'm using an example where I don't know if there's a cheaper solution, but I'm just using it as an example of, if you can solve that problem, meaning source a gimbal for cheaper, you are literally solving a problem, because there is going to be a significant portion of people that would like those gimbals but don't have $300 or $400. Let's say you could sell one for $300 or $250. I say, I've seen in the market, being in this game for a long time, if you can undercut a price by 20%, people will even leave brand loyalty. So maybe you want to go the easy route and solve problems for price. It depends on what you want to do. Basically, what you need to do is you need to get immersed in communities and figure out where those problems exist. I'm going with the method of a lifelong product where you're not dependent on ad spend. The other way of doing this is find a cool product and hopefully spend tens of thousands of dollars of ads and be profitable. That's one way to go about it. That's what everybody preaches. I can tell you that sure, 1 out of every 20 products, if you spend a bunch of money on them, will probably work as long as you're doing your research correctly. But at some point, the fad dies out and your sales will die out, and then you have to end the product. The other side is if you do this correctly, you're solving a problem forever, or at least you're solving a problem for years. Where can you find these groups and communities? Facebook is your best friend. Pick a hobby, sub-niche it down, get more specific. So if you're outdoorsy, pick kayaking. Get deeper and deeper and deeper. Find a community between 50 and 150,000 people, maybe even larger. The larger it gets, the more entrepreneurs are going to be there trying to do this. Start small, grow big. Once you have cash flow, it's easier to attack larger markets. And then find a problem. Be in there for a while. Be in there for a couple weeks. Get your hands dirty. Learn everything that you can about that community. Once you've done that, you'll have identified a problem, and then you will have much more powerful tools with you when you're going through things like AliExpress, Alibaba, when you're sourcing your product. The next step, before you even source your product, make sure your product is real. We're basically building a business plan. So before you're buying anything, proof of concept. Find the product, but don't buy anything. Don't get it all set up. Once you've found that product, right, the next step is figure out if anyone else is using that product and their price points. These are easy steps. I'm not going to talk too much about them. Let's say you find a gimbal, it's $100 cost your cost. Can you sell it for $170 profitable? Probably. Go find if other people are doing it. Search the internet, back search the image on Alibaba, whatever it is. And then once you've figured all that out, right, start estimating your shipping costs, use free shipping tools, and build a business plan. Understand your product costs landed, or if you're drop shipping, your cost to your customer, and span that all out. Once you have all that, the next step that, again, nobody talks about, start an LLC, register your business. The simple things. Isolate yourself from your business so that if something happens and you get sued, you're not losing your house and everything in your bank account. Isolate yourself. Get a business checking account. These are all things you must do. If you have a physical location or you're in a state that requires it, you may have to register your business specifically in your state. So many people skip this step. It is so critically important. Once you've done that, you can now finally attack your product. Get sourcing your product. If you're bringing in inventory, bring in inventory. If you're drop shipping, start building your Shopify. You need to do that as you bring in inventory too. Build your Shopify. If you're going to do a lot of products, build a general store, but make sure you house a landing page in there, especially for your first product. Once you've done that, you've got two options for growing. The $0 cost option is to go back into your community and sell like you're a salesperson. Individual messages, comments, posts. If you're in groups that don't allow posts, build yourself up as a tool. Add value to the community, and before you know it, as you add value, they will start letting you post that information. It's not going to happen overnight. It will take some time. Could take as much as 3 or 4 months, but that's the $0 cost to you. If you have money to spend, your other option is to run ads and build that product. Both are ways to make money. I tend to avoid the ad side because it brings down profit margins, and if you build your organic snowball successfully and spend $0, but build the snowball, as in you sell enough people and then certain portions of your customers then repost for you because they're so happy with their product, you start building this snowball that slowly gets larger and larger and exponentially larger, and then you have a self-sustaining product. Both work. Eventually you'll start running ads if your product can attack a bigger market, but at least you'll have money in the bank account that's free and clear and it is all profit. So once you're selling and once you have all that done, you create another iteration and try another product, but you don't do that until your first product is profitable. My rule of thumb is I want 3 months profitable on a product before I start another product. Soon what you'll find is that you're iterating so many times that you'll be running 3 or 4 products at a time. But when you're starting your first product, it needs to be, in your first year, you shouldn't be going more than 2 or 3 products. And if you can do more than 2 or 3 products, you're picking a niche that's too small, or you're picking a niche that's too large and you're failing. You need to go through these iterations and don't give up because it's going to be iterating and iterating and iterating. But that's the A to Z life cycle. And I know that I'm not speaking like I'm not showing you how to build a Shopify store. There are plenty of tutorials about how to do that. What I'm telling you here are the key aspects and the life cycle of this business that no one's talking about that really only takes a few minutes to talk about. Product and market research are 90% of this process. And in that, you're gonna fail. So you make the 10% that follows it, which is the selling, the advertisements, everything like that. That needs to cost the least amount possible so you can continually iterate within the 90% of what this process is. Once you figure that out, sourcing new products becomes really easily. I failed for the first couple years of my career, and then right now, I've got over 50 products that I manufacture myself and over 10,000 products that I dropship in my business. And I can tell you right now, the last 45 products that I've been manufacturing, none of them have failed. They've all been profitable. Knock on wood, that might change, but I've been running for 3 years with them now. You'll get better at it, and when you figure that 90% out and you figure out how to identify a problem, you can keep iterating. Some of the products that I make aren't big ticket items. I get maybe like 15, 20 sales a year. It might not sound like a lot, but I spend $0 in ads, and all I'm doing is printing shipping labels. So that $15 or $20 of sales a year could be like $1,000 or $2,000 a year, which might not sound like a lot, but when you have 50 of them, things start to add up. And some of them aren't even $1,000. Some of them are just a couple $100, but I'm building this umbrella of organically growing things. It's like having real estate. Some people talk about passive income. I can tell you that being in the real estate game with myself, passive income on the side of just having products sell themselves and all you have to do is slap a label on a package is far less work and much more profit than owning a property where you have to maintain it, upkeep, tenants, all those things. I promise you, the legacy of that business is pretty dang great. And if you're saying real estate has inherent equity and all those things, if you build products that sell themselves forever, you can sell your business, right? It's never going to go away unless you want it to go away. Someone will buy that from you if it's constantly generating money and you're spending no money in ads. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you understand the long-term framework in a short amount of period of time that we have here. I'll be creating a longer guide. The video will probably be 3 or 4 hours about literally, like I'll show you like from A to Z how I actually build the store and everything like that. But this should give you enough information to at least keep you busy for the next month or two. Because again, product and market research, you need to master that because that's 90% of what you're going to be doing. And it's not going to be the 10% that's selling. Because if you do the 90%, the 10% becomes easy. The product will sell itself. And otherwise, guys, have a good and engaged day. If you're thinking about doing this, if you've watched this far through, stop watching the video and get out there and do some product and market research. The only thing keeping you from finding a solution to a problem is you and your own time. So go out and get it. Thanks, guys.